Yeah, this is Point Black, coming in hard and off the guard. Coming with that flow straight to the barrio, and coming with that heat to the damn street. This is PBNN Point Black National News, excuse me, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. You know, man, ain't really acting up. Yeah, I can't. You know what I'm saying? The ghetto edition as well. This is PBNN, Point Black National News with the facts, the crack backs, the heat from the street, the flow from the barrio. You know what I'm saying? The boom bip to the line ass lips. This is how we do. You know what I'm saying? Now tonight we see where we have a whole lot of things going on. One of the things we want to talk about is the policies of many of these different types of governments across the land that seems to continuously invade other people's land, not only invade, but also set up, these different type of terrorists or brutal people to take over the country and keep the country in its place, or either have one group come in and then they trick another group to come in because they didn't get what they want, so they use the other group to pound the other group, and so forth on. We have to start looking at that based on our foreign policy out there in the world, because what has happened over the many years of demon democratical rule is, even when we look at Afghanistan, you know what I'm saying, we even hearing of people like Pakistan and so forth involved in Afghanistan as well. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's in there trying to get the resources out of that area, you know what I'm saying? And many people know that many have invaded that land, and prior to that land being in the hands of what we call a Caucasian looking individual, it was African land that was taken from Africans probably that was there way before they got there. But being that they're there, you know what I'm saying, and the common people have a right to live now that they are there, and a right to, be on that land, you know what I'm saying, because they have been there for years fighting on that land. But at the same time, you owe us a great deal. But Afghanistan needs to understand that the different governments that keeps coming at your country are not bent on helping the Afghans in many ways. You know what I'm saying? Now we're hearing of Biden deciding to go over there and make some kind of peace deal. You know what I'm saying? But he's just doing the same thing that Trump did. You know, he's following Trump track record as if he's mimicking everything and removing things that he don't like, such as, most presidents do when they go in. But they also do a lot of garbage when they do that as well, because what they remove a lot of times is the protection for many different groups and nations of people across the land. You know what I'm saying? Afghanistan is one of those places. Even Russia went into Afghanistan, and I found out that they had spent, 20 years there fighting a war against the Afghan people. And then America comes in and helps them out all of a sudden. But I wonder who talked the Russians into going into Afghanistan in its first place. You see what I'm saying? And then once they leave, then the Americans come in again. You know what I'm saying? All on the base of the resources of what's there that they're fighting for in many ways. We don't know. But the Afghan common people deserve a right to survival, and all nations must now back off, and not only back off, but gain understanding of support for the Afghan people in general, you know what I'm saying, of themselves, because whoever is running the country or whoever may be in charge of the Afghan land does not specifically speak all the time for the people. And it's a shame to see that they are constantly in war, and wars. You know what I'm saying? Trumped up by very democratical, to me, garbage-hitical rules. But we must look out for the Afghans and make sure that they get the financial money they need. Same goes for our people right here in the United States. We need to get Lee Zeldin for governor up in there so we can get a better chance to see what he will do to clean up New York, because as far as we see, the demon Democrats ain't doing shit to clean up shit. They sitting on top of a whole lot of garbage worrying about Donald J. Trump and stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? And right here in New York, you know what I'm saying, you have Kathy Hochul saying this and saying that and signing this and signing that, but that's all to stay in position of the demon Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Such as they use the Roe versus Wade Scotch deal, you know what I'm saying, to psychologically, you know, mess up the women's head. So now we know how they go about doing what they do, why so many people seem to always vote demon Democrat. And then when that doesn't work, they cheat. So we know for well there's a lot going on, especially when we're looking now at Afghanistan as a whole. You know what I'm saying? But we see it's a story coming in from the Guardian. Moving on, it says it's good to think strategical Thomas E. Ricks on civil rights and January 6th. You know what I'm saying? He's saying, according to his book, you know what I'm saying? Oh, is this book? This is a direct connection from Freedom Summer. There is a direct connection of Freedom Summer to the January 6th committee, said Thomas E. Rick, as he discussed his new book. You know what I'm saying? Waging a good war. Here we go with that bullshit. Military history and civil rights movement, 1954 to 1968. The Freedom Summer was a 1964 campaign drawing attention to the violence faced by black people in Mississippi and so forth. I wonder why that always bothered me. Why they would consistently bring these people over here and then consistently terrorize them as if like they were not even, and even had in the Constitution that they're 3/5 of a man. Have anybody ever proved that bullshit? But anyway, and same group of the Mississippi people in Mississippi, Florida, and all over the all over this country as well. And not only did they come over here and invade it and war for it, but you also put the people who were here long time before you in peril, and then you went around the world doing it to every single other race that you possibly think that you can do it to. You know what I'm saying? So we see a lot of bullshit, but we see Mississippi when they tried to vote. You see what I'm saying? They were terror violence faced black people when he's saying that the Mississippians would not let the black people vote, and when they tried to vote, the Freedom Summer was a 1964 campaign to draw attention to the violence faced by black people in the Mississippi when they tried to vote. And I wonder what at that time, what was the party that was running that situation in Mississippi? I bet you any money bet they were demon Democrats. Mm-hmm. The House January 6th committee will soon conclude its hearing on the Capitol Hill so-called riots. To me, that is a demon Democratic trick as well. When supporters of Donald J. Trump, the president, you know what I'm saying, supporters, how we know they were his supporters, we're still asking that question. I don't care how many people were out there, we're still asking how many of them were actually supporters of Donald J. Trump and who was leading the crowd up front. Donald Trump attacked American democracy itself. That's bullshit. You get out of my fucking face. Whatever clown fat dude you are, go get you a snack, you know what I'm saying, and stay the fuck out of politics with your bullshit book. Because nobody ain't reading that. Because when we look at it, you're talking about demon mockery. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that straight. You know what I'm saying? Or crockery or whatever you want to call it itself. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the country and the people that live in this country we call the United States. I don't know about no demockery or whatever you want to call it as what you feel that you should use to follow behind others in the words that they say. But the committee is chaired by Bernie Thomas in in his opening statement in June, his opening statement in June, the Demon Democrat said, "I was born, raised, and still live in Bolton, Mississippi. I am from a part of the country where people justify the actions of slavery." No, they didn't, and Ku Klux Klan and lynching. No, 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 no. That's all Demon Democrat. Let's get that straight. He knows this even when he put this up there for me to get upon it. You know what I'm saying? That's all Demon Democratical work. If you look up and do your historical research like this guy is doing here with his little foolish garbage in more ways than one, we already know who in Mississippi, Bolton, or wherever you want to come from, you know what I'm saying, agreed along with this bullshit because they made the world believe that white people are superior to everyone else. You know what I'm saying? This pure so-called white race theory they have. And not only that, they want to control government, and then they put these people in place as terrorists to terrorize the black people so they won't vote, and the Republican Party won't have no strength or power or reconstruction that was coming forward at that time. So we're looking at slavery as something as if people have wrote Bibles and books to dehumanize even black people. When you even look up the Noah story, which a lot of people should do, since you say you go to church, read the Noah story and read it well, because they're probably going to change it anyway one day. But if you read the story, you will also see that black people are cursed in the Noah story. And the Noah story ain't nothing but a fairy tale piece of junk to me. You know what I'm saying? You can keep it and do whatever you want with it, but we're not following that bullshit. But we do know it's the same thing we see that goes on even in foreign countries, Afghanistan, even Africa, and so forth. They hide a lot of these terroristic things they do to black people all over the world. Same as they do in many other countries, you know what I'm saying, that we are not there to see what's going on. And if you go there, you probably will never make it back. And it's very, very sad to see that you cannot enjoy the cultural overstanding of all countries and so forth. And the Demon Democrats continuously keep us at war, even when you look at how they did slavery. And so who gave them the right to enslave anybody at all? And it just goes back further than even these clowns. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of this was going on. You know what I'm saying? We must now quail this bullshit because we're not going to go for it, and we shouldn't go for it in any shape or form. But he went on to say in his bullshit